Let's go, Falcons fans! Today, we're diving into some exciting moves our team could make this offseason. But before we jump into the big news, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an update on the Falcons. And feel free to drop a comment saying, "Rise up, Falcons!" With Jeff Albrecht back in Atlanta as our defensive coordinator, there's a lot of buzz about what our defense might look like in 2025. If you've been following the team, you know Albrecht has a history here. He started as our linebackers coach and then became the defensive coordinator in 2020 under Raheem Morris. Now that Albrecht is reunited with Morris, it's no surprise that the Falcons might consider bringing in some of Albrecht's former players from his time with the New York Jets. Let's talk about 3 potential targets who could really boost our defense. First up is Solomon Thomas. He's the kind of edge rusher we've been looking for. Last season with the Jets, he recorded 3.5 sacks, 15 solo tackles, and 1 forced fumble. In comparison, our own Lorenzo Carter had a tough year with 0 sacks and just 4 quarterback pressures. Thomas has consistently outperformed Carter and would come at a lower cost. The salary cap and his familiarity with Albrecht's defensive system make Solomon Thomas a perfect fit for us. At 30 years old, he still has plenty of energy left and could easily join our rotation, giving us the pass-rushing boost we desperately need. Next, let's talk about Isaiah Oliver. Some of you might remember him from his time in Atlanta, where he showed a lot of promise. After moving to San Francisco and then the Jets, he played 576 snaps in 2024, mostly in the slot, and had his lowest missed tackle rate since his rookie season. Standing at 6 feet 4 inches, he brings a strong physical presence that could really help our secondary, which struggled last year, especially at the nickel position. D. Alfred didn't quite meet expectations, so Oliver could be a cost-effective upgrade. Given his history with Morris and Albrecht, a reunion seems not only possible, but practical. Finally, let's discuss Javon Kinlaw. This is a name that should get any fan excited about adding a dominant presence to our defensive line. Kinlaw just had his best season yet, with 4.5 sacks, 27 solo tackles, and 2 forced fumbles. At 6 feet 4 inches and 315 pounds, he's a powerhouse of a defensive tackle who could easily fit into our front 4. David Onyemata had a solid run, but at 33, his best days might be behind him. Kinlaw, on the other hand, is 28 and entering his prime. His postseason experience with the 49ers could provide valuable leadership for a defense eager to take the next step. In Albrecht's 4-3 scheme, Kinlaw's size and strength could truly be a game-changer. So, why should we target these Jets players? The answer is simple: familiarity and proven performance. These players know what it's like to play under Albrecht and can quickly adapt to his system, which is crucial for the Falcons as we work to revamp our defense. Most importantly, these players address key areas we need to improve: pass rush, secondary depth, and strength in the interior defensive line. With the NFC South wide open, making the right moves this offseason could be the difference between watching the playoffs from home and making a serious run for the championship. Now, Falcons fans, it's your turn. What do you think about these potential moves? Should we go after Solomon Thomas, Isaiah Oliver, or Javon Kinlaw? Or is there someone else you have your eye on? Next, let's tackle one of the hottest topics of the Falcons offseason: the backup quarterback situation. Who will it be? Kirk Cousins, Andy Dalton, Jameis Winston? Let's break it down. Starting with Kirk Cousins, the former Pro Bowler is technically still on the Falcons roster, but let's be honest, his future with the team looks uncertain. After being benched for rookie Michael Penix Jr. late last season, it seems like the writing is on the wall. While GM Terry Fontenot has publicly stated that the team is comfortable with Cousins as the backup, many fans are left wondering what that really means for the future. There's a lot to unpack here. When GM Terry Fontenot says the team is comfortable with Kirk Cousins as a backup, it raises some eyebrows. Comfortable with such an expensive backup? Comfortable with a guy who threw more interceptions than anyone else in the league when he was benched? Comfortable, might not be the right word at all. The Falcons are in a tricky spot. Cousins is due a $10 million roster bonus in March, and while Fontenot insists that the team's salary cap situation at quarterback is still manageable, it's hard to ignore that Atlanta is currently $9.76 million over the salary cap. So, what's the plan? Do the Falcons bite the bullet and keep Cousins as the most expensive backup in the league? Or do they look for a more affordable option that fits better behind rookie Michael Penix Jr.? This brings us to two names that are being discussed as potential replacements: Andy Dalton and Jameis Winston. Let's start with Andy Dalton. This name should ring a bell for all football fans. The 14-year veteran has been in just about every situation you can imagine, from leading playoff teams in Cincinnati to mentoring young quarterbacks like Bryce Young in Carolina. Last season, Dalton played in 6 games for the Panthers, completing 66.3% of his passes with 7 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. While those numbers might not jump off the not just experience but also leadership. He's the kind of veteran presence who could be an invaluable mentor to Michael Penix Jr., helping the rookie navigate the ups and downs of being an NFL starter.
Well, first of all,
Now, let's talk about Jameis Winston. I know what you're thinking, Falcons fans. Winston has been a thorn in our side for years. But hear me out. He's still only 31 years old and has 88 career starts under his belt. He's faced the pressure of being a former number 1 overall pick, and that kind of experience is invaluable. Last season, Winston went 2-5 as a starter for the Cleveland Browns, but let's not forget his potential. When he's at his best, he has a rocket arm, and having him on our side for once could be a refreshing change. Plus, it would feel pretty good to have Winston helping us instead of torching us. When comparing Dalton and Winston to Cousins, the main argument isn't about who has had the better career. Cousins is a 4-time Pro Bowler and clearly has the most accolades. However, at this stage, it's all about fit and value. Cousins is set to cost $37.5 million next season, while both Dalton and Winston would come at a fraction of that price. Let's be honest, based on Cousins' performance in his last 5 games, where he threw just 1 touchdown and 9 interceptions, it's not even clear he's the best option on the field anymore. If the Falcons can offload Cousins' contract and bring in a more cost-effective backup, that extra cap space could be used to address other important areas, like the offensive line or the secondary. Now, let's discuss the broader implications of this decision. Michael Penix Jr. showed flashes of brilliance in his 3 starts last season, but he's still a rookie heading into his first full year as a starter. The backup quarterback in Atlanta isn't just an insurance policy, he's a crucial piece of Penix's development. A veteran backup can serve as a mentor, a sounding board, and even a second coach on the field. That's why this decision is so critical. So, where do we stand? The Falcons have options, but they need to act quickly. If they decide to keep Cousins, they'll be committing a large chunk of their cap space to a player who's no longer a starter. If they choose to move on, they'll have to pick between seasoned veterans like Dalton and Winston, each of whom brings something unique to the table. It's a tough call, but one that could significantly impact the team's success in 2025. All right, Falcons fans, it's your turn. What do you think the team should do? Should they stick with Kirk Cousins and hope he bounces back? Or is it time to bring in someone new like Andy Dalton or Jameis Winston? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more exclusive Falcons content. Go Falcons!